You were listening to episode 117 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we're fourth and gore in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
Man, that one made a lot of sense. It's a little better than we touched back on 2008 like last week.
Oh, whatever, dude. I put effort into these. These all make sense. If you go back and listen to these are all great.
Ryan's effort, by the way, is after we play the game, sits there with his iPad and goes, what can I say?
Sometimes I do it before or during the game.
That's true. That is true. Sometimes he does do it before. I kind of have to think about like what the thought process is as you're sitting there like thinking of these things. Like, do you just have your whiskey on the side and you're just kind of nursing it and you have a pencil to your like lip and you're just kind of thinking of like what you're going to write here?
I don't have like a sit down like process, like something that always happens, but I go through, I try to think of, you watch Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
I try to go kind of the direction that Bob would go with his burger names.
I gotcha.
These. I try to be clever, but without being, too on the nose.
Gotcha. So, a true artist in his form. That's what it is. Well, this week, fourth and gore. I think we mentioned it last week. So we played some Mutant League Football on the PS4. This is really the remake in a sense from the original, and it's actually the original creator that made this one through a Kickstarter, I think you said.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that during the inflation deflation section, John. Yeah. Why not just get it all out there up front? You want to tell them what the price is too?
Yeah, we'll tell them what the price is. So the price on this game is none of your beeswax till we get to that part. All right, so as always, let's start with our recent pickups. This week, I actually did not pick up... No, I did. I picked up Mutant League Football. Yeah. It finally came in. It came in on Monday, so that technically is beyond our weekly pickups from last week.
Yep.
So I did get this game, and that was it. That was all I picked up, dude. I picked up some Magic cards, because I'm trying to get back into Magic once things, are done with the pandemic, hopefully at some point.
You've got the Magic. Now you just need the Gathering.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude. Your dad jokes are on fire.
Ching.
Yeah, so actually I spotted a fake. So I actually purchased, it's called a Rishodon Port. It's a card I used to have when I was younger. It's skyrocketed in value for a number of years, like $150 a card. And then it plummeted down to like 13 or 14 or something like that. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my place at a 4. And it took like 10, 12 days to get here via like first class postage, which was kind of weird to begin with. And when it finally got here, I had an original that I had for a while. And then I pulled up the other one. I'm like, there's something off. Like, this definitely feels too new for a card that was made in like 1995. Like in that time frame, like there's no way this is right. Like this condition, this is easily like a $30, $40 card.
Recently opened?
No, it'd be $30, $40. Like even that condition, it could be graded in the condition it was in. And it was considered light play. I was like, there's no way. So I put the two together. I'm like, something just seems off. Now I looked at the artwork on one card and it was like really like just bright and vibrant. And then the other one just kind of had like a light, dull kind of color to it. And they have a light test in Magic where if you put a flashlight in the dark behind the card, it'll actually like, if it's two pieces of paper kind of glued together, it doesn't show the full front image on the back. It just has like a darker version. You can kind of get the idea, but it's not the same. Like that artwork just doesn't shine through. And so I did a light test and it failed. It had like a seam where pieces of paper were glued. It had that artwork issue. I was so disappointed, man. Like I waited like a good 12 days. Had my binder ready with my 4 slots. It was going to be popped in there and everything. And I got some fakes. So since
you can still play with them.
No, not on a legal basis. Like if somebody found, they're really good fakes. These are really good fakes.
Well, no, but like, what's it matter if you actually own the card or not? Like it's playing a digital version versus a physical version of the game. Like if you own a digital version of something, is it less real than owning the physical version?
So let's just say hypothetically, I was in a tournament setting and I was playing with three fake cards of that name, and they're really good fakes, actually, very good counterfeits. And say I was in a tournament setting and somebody's like, hey, can I see that port that you have there, that card? And I hand it to them. If they notice it's a fake, I'm disqualified right off the bat.
Why? Because you didn't have the $120? Like, yeah. Don't you play in sleeves anyways?
Yeah. But
So it's not like you don't have an advantage.
No, you don't, except for the fact that somebody spent the money to get the card. Dude, there's cards worth $550, $600 that are consistently played.
Yeah, I know, but like that's a poor barrier to entry.
Yeah, it's not a good barrier.
Like it makes it not a game of skill. It makes it a game of wallet.
Well, yeah, it does make it a game of wallet, but I mean, think about it this way. If you went to a bank and you tried to pay somebody with a fake $20 bill, you've got the FBI on your ass, right?
Yeah, but you're not making money off of it.
Yeah, people are making money. I bought 3 fake
Yeah, but you're
cards.
not like it's different than like you're not going into a store and being like, here's a fake $20, let me get that loaf of bread. You're going into a place, you're playing a game using like a picture. Like, whether or not that picture's authentic, like, you don't get any advantage. Like, you can't tell, like, where it is in your deck based off of it being fake. Like, it doesn't give you any inherent play advantage.
Here's some situations
because
where
you could just own those cards if you were a little bit wealthier.
So, yeah, and here's where theoretically, and these cards are only like $20 now at most, but here's where theoretically you can use those fakes, right? If you actually already owned the cards and they were in, like near mint condition, you just didn't want to use them, you could print proxies and then say like, hey, here's my cards, I own them, they're in my binder, but I want to use these for gameplay because if they get bent or damaged or anything in gameplay, I want to use these proxies to make sure that I don't
that
damage
undermines
originals.
the whole argument anyways, because
No,
like
because
having the actual card in the game doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter in that extent, but it does matter from the financial component, which if I own several cards that are a few $100s. If I decided I wanted to play with fake cards and I didn't own them, and say, because in this case it was, like I said, a really good counterfeit. Like, it took me a moment to actually like take a look and be like, yeah, this is fake. If I didn't know any wiser, I would have spent like however much money on those cards, and they were fake. That's the same way as like a transaction of a fake $20 bill. I could have taken those fakes and hawked it off on somebody else for $20 or for a better card.
That's a different exchange.
It is, but the fact that it exists is a problem. So counterfeits should not have a place in the market. It's like buying counterfeit PS2 games that have been made in like a hot shop somewhere, and that happens. Like, there's secondary prints of a lot of games. Like, my copy of Nocturne is actually one of those secondary market prints. Like, it's made in like the right facility, but it's not an original. So in my mind, like, I'm always going to look at that and say that's not an original game, and I definitely want to get like an original copy.
Yeah, but you could play that and get the same experience, and it doesn't diminish it.
You can, but the financial component, the collectible aspect of it, is diminished completely. Like, cases I have for games that I've made that are not real.
If you were trying to trade somebody those counterfeit Magic cards, that would be wrong. But playing them in a tournament shouldn't be wrong. I know that this is probably already common knowledge out there, and I'm stupid for arguing against it, but I don't like the principle of this. It's gatekeeping, and down with gatekeeping.
So, like,
go free to play. Play some Apex Legends, people.
And I'll tell you, like, in casual matches, I'd have no problem somebody playing proxies. We used to do it all the time in college. We'd write on like a piece of paper and like, hey, here's a card, here's what it does, and you're like, all right, cool. Like, I'll look up a picture, see what it does.
Because you don't have hundreds of dollars.
Exactly. You don't have hundreds of dollars in casual play. In tournament play, totally different situation, man. The buy-in, I mean, if you wanted to get into like standard Magic, you'd have to buy the new cards. Like, you would have to actually invest in those cards. You can't get away with just proxies. Like, if everybody to play is buying several $100 boxes,
little poor orphan with fingerless gloves and soot on his nose showed up, they'd kick him out.
No, they would give him soup, allow him to watch, and potentially give him a deck that they have in the store ready to play. Our store used to do that. We'd have several decks like readily available for younger kids that couldn't afford
with
it.
all the shitty cheap cards.
No, it was competitive cards. We would allow like kids to come in and they could, pay their $5 entry or whatever it was, and we'd give them a deck that was worth hundreds of dollars, and they would literally play. There would be somebody over their shoulder the whole damn time, but yeah. Okay, enough about Magic. That was the pickup. It was Mutant League Football and my Magic cards. Ryan, did you pick anything up?
No. No, I didn't.
That reaction.
But
dude.
I'm excited for next week. I think, hopefully, I don't know what the date is, but PS Plus next month, Control
nice.
is going to be on there. Yeah. I'm super pumped to play that.
Did you get Maneater? I think that was on this month, right?
I think it's only on PS5.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That
because
sucks.
this month was... I already went back and looked what this month was, and I already got it, and I already forgot what it was again.
It wasn't that good.
I think it was like Greedfall and something else.
Oh, yeah. I thought Maneater was on there. I could have sworn it said Maneater and
I think
Greedfall.
Maneater was on PS5.
Oh.
Because they're doing like releases on PS5 now, and it's like there's only so much to pick from.
Well, and they did that on PS4 too, and PS3 when PlayStation Plus was around. Like they switched it up, of course.
Well, I mean, like PS5 just came out, so there's not a lot of PS5 games to launch.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that. But anyways, more importantly, still playing Apex Legends.
Good God, man.
Digging it. Got a better KDR. Got more wins than John. Kicking John's ass.
I think Ryan just has like this stroke of luck in gaming where he's able to.
Dude, I get
better
carried
players.
so hard.
I don't. That's the problem.
I get carried so hard. These people's shoulders must hurt
like
when they play with me.
I jump into matches and I'm like getting paired up with like 10-year-olds and people that are like level 20, level 30, and like I'm not a pro by all means, but like I've got some scrubs on my team, dude. Like I'm carrying teams right now and it sucks.
Dude, I'm in my 60s. I've got a dude on my right that's like level 500, a dude on my left that's like level 300. At that in card, they've got like 3 kills, 2k damage. I've got 0 kills, 900 damage. The other guy's got like 5 kills and 3k damage, and it's like, carry me, baby.
And here's the opposite. So for me, I'm running in all the time at like 3 kills, 400 damage, 2 kills, 600 damage. Like
I do have
like
better
that.
KDR than you do.
You do, but that's because you've also played less games and I've played more games and died more. So, I mean, a lot of my games, to be honest, when I drop down with like another, 2 lower level players, amounts to pretty much drop down. They'll find whatever guns, they'll run and get it. I'm struggling to find a gun. They go down. I still have no gun, and several teams
Dude,
drop
this is
around.
what you do. This is what I've started doing. Just run past the first set of stuff and let them grab it. Because it's always going to be something dumb anyways. Like, I always chase down a shield first. Because, like, if you get a gun and have no shield, you're pretty much going to die anyways.
Yeah, but if you have a shield and no gun, you're going to die too.
Yeah, but you could probably make it to a gun better.
Potentially.
Than staring at the ground, picking up scopes and extra ammo.
Dude, yesterday alone, we had 4 matches before we got into that Octane I was talking to you about. We had 4 matches where we were dropped directly into, like, a major firefight.
Oh, yeah.
And there were no guns. And
both
of my players went down with me. So it's like, what am I supposed to do when, like, I jump into a match and, like, within seconds, my teammates are down. And then, like, I'm struggling to find a gun because everything's been taken. They've taken it. They've gone down. I'm having to run because I don't have any weapons.
Yeah.
It's just, like, a struggle to be able to play it. Now, when I've had, like, good people on my team, dude, I was playing with a guy that was level 500 yesterday, and I carried his ass.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird, like, some of the situations in that game. So I think more or less what it amounts to is either luck of the draw, finding somebody that actually can play and you can play with and strategically go around, not having an Octane go across the entire damn level to where when they die, you're now unmanned, or undermanned 3-2. And then on top of that, it's just being able to play with people consistently, the same people. So when I play with Justin and we got this girl out of South Carolina that we've been teaming up with a lot recently, dude, we've been consistently, like, as a team getting like 10 kills, finishing in the top 3 every time we play. But
dude, there's so many top 2 finishes that I have. Like, I probably have way more number 2 finishes than wins.
Yeah, I've got a lot of number 2 finishes as well. Well, I mean, of course you double, because if you win, you get a top 2 finish. If you lose, you still top 2, even top 3. So we've had a lot of success with, like, consistently playing with, like, certain players, like same squads. But when it comes into, like, randos, it's just been, like, terrible luck, dude. Like, Justin and I can only do so much in a match before we're just screwed. Yeah. And playing with Octanes just sucks.
Dude, I'm so pumped for Season 8. So everybody, Season 8 starts like next week. At, like, I think it's like February 2nd at like 11 a.m. There's a thing on your PlayStation where you can have it like automatically turn on your PlayStation and sign in.
Oh, nice.
Like to the game at the time. I'm going to do that. It's going to be fun. We'll see what happens.
I'm pretty excited about it.
But like, so for anybody out there that, is casual Apex or hasn't played Apex, there's like a new character coming out. He's got some bombs. I think he can like shoot grenades really far. He looks really dope. He sounds Australian. There's like a lever action rifle coming, which looks super dope. There's some new hop-ups coming. There's some new hop-up for the Sentinel, and they're bringing the Anvil receiver for the R301 and the Flatline.
I also heard they're doing gold ammo.
Gold ammo.
Yeah. So like unlimited clips or something.
No, so it auto reloads for you while it's in like reserve. So if you switch it into reserve and pull out your other gun for a few seconds, it'll automatically reload that one. So you can kind of just like not have to reload, keep shooting, switch back, and then keep shooting. And like that'll be crazy on like a Havoc or something, or I wonder what they'll put it with. I wonder if it'll be for all guns.
Who knows? We'll find out. We'll see. Well, okay, so that's you're currently playing, of course, and the hype tied to Apex. I'm currently playing Apex as well, but I also dug a little more into Jade Cocoon this week. So I progressed a little further in that game. It's been a while since I like sat back and played. Yeah, I love that song. It's been a while since I actually like played several consistent hours in a row on that one, but it was good. I was getting through Spider Forest, which is where I was before. I had to grab a guide because it had been so long, so I went ahead and followed a guide for the specific areas to make sure I had hit everything I needed to hit, and now I just opened up the next part of the Spider Forest to be able to progress on and move forward with I think it's the calabash powder is what I need to find, or calabash plant in the game to wake everybody up from, whatever situation they're in. So that's where we're at. So hopefully, I'm hoping to beat it this week, to be honest. Like, I've had a lot going on because I'm looking for the house and everything. So at this point, it's like, I want to play Apex, and then I got to prep D&D sessions, and then I'm still looking for houses and going out. And then, of course, I want to play Jade Cocoon. Like, dude, my balance is all over the flipping place. It's insane. So we'll see.
I gotta start playing Persona. I just realized, like, it's already the end of January. Like, I've already wasted 1/12 of this year. I only have 11/12 to get through both of these games. Oh my god!
I've got
New Games Resolution coming for me again.
Oh my god. Yeah, right? It's going to catch up, dude, because then you've also got your other game you decided, and Blue's Clues. We will have you play Blue's Clues at some point in time.
I keep hoping you're going to forget about that.
No, dude. I'm going to remember Blue's Clues for the rest of my life until you play it.
Did you write it down in your handy-dandy notebook?
I wrote it down in my handy-dandy mental notebook. Yeah. But it's there on the shelf. It is ready for you to play. In fact, not next week, because I know you're out next week, out of town, or doing your thing, but maybe the following week. Maybe I can watch you play Blue's Clues and get tortured by that video game. We'll see. Figure it out. I think it'll be fun. All right. Well, this week we've got a few articles we'll be talking about before Ryan jumps in on some trivia. So, still looking for a new game console? Here's why. So that's an article we got covered. Epic beats Nintendo as the world's most popular video game company.
That one's bizarre.
It really is. That's a cool one, though. And I don't know why the font changed here, but Amazon can make just about anything except a good video game.
That's very true.
Yeah, pretty much is true.
So trivia. I've got good trivia
right.
this week. I thought of a question that you might know the answer to. Like, this is a fair question. Like, it's out there in the public conscious. It's from a popular title, and it's not off a stupid listicle. So,
is listicle a word?
Sure. I've heard it. I've heard it done said.
By the way, man, you might want to move your mic back a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
So, in 1990, Nintendo Power held a contest in which a winner would have their name put in a future Nintendo game. This game went on to become A Link to the Past, and it has a secret room in it. What is the name of that person? And when people call it the blank room after this dude's name. Who's that guy?
Well, damn. I don't know that. God, the only thing that keeps coming to mind is the Wizard.
Link to the Past.
Yeah, I know. Well, it would help if I played a lot of Link to the Past. I don't know, man.
If you don't know it, you're not going to guess it.
Is it like really hard?
It's just a dude's name.
It's just a dude's name. The Bob room.
It's first and last now.
Oh,
it's the Chris Houlihan room.
The Chris Houlihan room?
Yeah, so Chris Houlihan, he's got one of those stones that just says, "My name is Chris Houlihan. This is my top secret room. Keep it between us, okay?" And it's got 45 blue rupees in it. It's just this random room that I think it just like randomly appears. It's a failsafe room that the game sends Link to when it cannot determine which room he should be sent to.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Obviously, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to get there in the game. But yeah, it's this fun secret. I remember seeing it before.
What are the few different ways to get there?
So let's see. One of the most well-known methods involves a series of dashes using Pegasus boosts starting from Sanctuary all the way to Sewer Passageways entrance. If executed correctly, Link will fall in the underground room. If Link exits the room, he will find himself outside his house. So it's like, if the game can't keep track of where you're supposed to be,
yeah,
it like bugs out and it sends you to this room as like a failsafe, and then once you leave there, you just back outside Link's house. But it's the Chris Houlihan room.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I did not know that.
Just a little room, bunch of rupees, little message. It's a cute thing. It's a fun thing like Nintendo used to do.
Huh.
Remember when they did fun things?
Yeah. I wonder if they'll have
I miss Nintendo Power.
I wonder if they'll do a John room. Yeah, dude. I wish there was a Nintendo Power magazine.
Like a digital version?
No, I would. Dude, I've been looking for a good video game magazine for years, and I just can't find one. So, if you know of a video game magazine that I should be reading and could potentially get like physical copies of versus digital, it'd be awesome. But let us know on our social media platform. No, I don't like Game Informer. It's everything. I want specific, like Nintendo or PlayStation, something along those lines. But yeah, let us know on social media if your favorite video game magazine. On Facebook at The Game Deflators, Instagram at The Game Deflators, and Twitter at Game Deflators. And of course, if you're listening to our podcast on your podcast application of choice, continue listening to our podcast on your podcast application of choice, or find us on Spotify, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Overcast, Castbox. Wherever podcasts are found, you'll find us there. And of course, a 6-star review, but leave 5 if you can't do 6.
Please.
And
thank you.
All right. Articles. Still looking for a game console. Here's why.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was Kellen Browning at New York Times, which Ryan had some difficulty opening the New York Times article. So I showed him
it's always like, you want a subscription? And I'm like, no, New York Times. I already read my 2 articles this week. I'll just read the first paragraph of this one. Thank you very much.
Wait, you read other New York Times articles, hence why you can do it?
Yeah, it gives you like a couple freebies a week or a month, or I don't know how it works. Sometimes I can read them, sometimes I can't. I don't care enough to keep trying past that point to read. Reading is a casual thing for me. If they put too many barriers between it and me, might as well not be worth knowing.
I read so many news articles on a day-to-day basis, it's insane. So for me, it's just incognito mode all day.
What are you, a newsie?
Yeah, I guess. I read a lot of political stuff, financial stuff, video game stuff, sports stuff.
Look at John being informed and whatnot.
Dude, I read a lot, actually.
I play Apex Legends.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
So anyways, yeah, I am looking for a Series S still, but, everybody's going to be looking for a while. I know speculation that I had heard before about maybe it being until April might be a little bit generous. Like, it might not really be till summer until you can go out and randomly find one, on an off-chance pick-off. But, it's going to be a while. I feel this article talked a lot about this radio show host who was looking for one for his little boy for Christmas. The Christmas present that you got to get. We talked about this a lot already last year. This is the mindset that everybody has, that you kid can only have the one thing, and man, those scalpers are so bad, and man, there's not enough of these going around. But like, people, man, you can wait.
Yeah,
seriously, you can wait. And especially right now, like, there was a few like launch games, but there's really not like a lot on it that it's just dying for you to get. Like, you can wait out those scalpers. Don't let them take your money. Don't be super antsy. There's still plenty of good stuff out there. I was just hearing about this new game Skull today that sounds pretty cool. A new roguelike. Get that. That's cheap. Save your money right now.
There's so many games on prior consoles between I mean, you can't even find a Switch right now, but PS4 and Xbox One and Switch, there's so many indie games and just games in general.
I challenge any of you to play Persona 4 before the Xbox is available. The Xbox will be available long before you can finish Persona 4.
I don't know, man. Depends on how dedicated you are. You could probably bash it on a week if you put 10 hours a day.
Nope, impossible.
Persona 4?
It takes over a year to beat Persona 4.
Like, are you talking 100% or just go through the main story?
It takes over a year no matter what.
For you, maybe.
No, for anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a
common casualty.
I'm going to look this up. Okay. But yeah, so I actually talked to somebody the other day. We went to dinner with a friend, and they brought a friend of a friend with them to dinner. And she was like, yeah, I wanted to get the Xbox Series S. I couldn't find it. It had been so long. I just got super impatient. So I just went ahead and met a scalper to buy it. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I just kind of looked at her. I'm like, you really wanted it that badly? She's like, yeah, I saw it online and I could have bought it for like, it was $50 with shipping and everything and something else. And the scalper had it for like maybe $100 extra. Whatever. She's like, I just wanted it then.
That seems really cheap.
Yeah. Like, I don't remember exactly. I think it was just like, she bought it for like, what's the Series S? Like 300? Is that right?
I think it's like 230 or something.
I don't remember the exact price, but basically she paid like $100 over retail for it, which technically from scalper prices is not like terrible. But at the same time, like you fed a scalper. You basically just told somebody, yeah, it's
you rewarded the behavior.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay for me to go out and go buy games or game systems in mass quantities and then sell it for a profit, while nobody else can get their hands on it. So I get it. Like I get like
it is 300. I don't know why I keep saying 230.
Yeah, so she paid like 400 then basically. So it would have been like she paid like 450 because it was like 350 online, and then she would have to pay $50 shipping, which would have made it 400, or she could have just bought it for 450 outright and not had to wait. So it just kind of scaled up of like, well, I could spend $50, but then I gotta wait, or I could spend an extra $50 and have it now, which I think is just stupid. Like, can't you just pay somebody to expedite it? And $50 shipping seems kind of high anyways for a product. So regardless, it just kind of goes into that mindset, right? Like, I have to have it now. I can't wait for it. Like, dude, like I want a new car, for example.
This says that the Best Buy near us has them.
Oh, don't tell us where we're at.
It says in stock.
Well, then go get one today.
I don't think I could do that.
Why?
I don't know. I'll stop by. Oh, well, because I gotta go. We gotta hurry.
Okay, we'll hurry. But you go get that Xbox if you can go get it. That'd be pretty badass, actually, if you were in on it.
I don't think I can do that.
Anyways. Okay, well, regardless, yeah, I get you. But yeah, so that was that mindset. And of course, somebody's being fed into the idea of like, I have to have it now. And like I was saying, like if I want a new car, I don't necessarily need I'm not in a need moment, right? It would be more of the want component. And there's that patience, right? Like I can wait another year or two to go get a new car. So you can wait another 6 months to get an Xbox. Like it's not a definite need. Unless it's critical to what you do for work as maybe a streamer, sure, maybe you have to have the most recent thing. Like, we would like to have those two consoles.
Or a handsome podcast host.
Exactly. So, thank you, Ryan. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I think it really depends on what your needs are. But a console, yeah, you don't need to feed the scalpers. And so, yeah, this article does say basically, like you said, summer of 2021 is likely when we'll see it. Available on shelves on a consistent basis. And a lot of that is kind of tied to, of course, the pandemic still occurring, a shortage of consoles. Well, of course, there being scalpers galore everywhere. And also the companies really just looking at the end of the day to create that fake demand. In a sense, they probably got loads of these consoles sitting and they're just peppering it out into the market to create that false demand and that want, which is a Nintendo strategy.
I was surprised at how young these like scalper bot company people were. They were like 18 and 21, like out of the UK or something, and they're getting like $40 a month from thousands of people to sell them the stuff that they need to become the internet's least favorite people.
Yeah, it's actually pretty insane. And there's also a group on here they noted you could put it's some sort of like plugin on your Google Chrome from some students in a university that allows you to stay up to date with products when they're hitting the market. Or when they are supposed to be hitting the market. So it's pretty interesting. All right. The next piece here we got is Epic Games beats Nintendo as the world's most popular gaming company. This is Jason Cohen at PC Mag.
This one, you guys should definitely look up like this weird graph.
I already posted
weird
it on our
map.
Facebook. It's on our Facebook.
Okay, so look it up on Facebook. But it shows like all the countries that, I guess this is the most Googled. I don't understand the metrics that they used in this.
What I got from it was Google search results based on different items that are tied to those companies. So, for example, if you look at Japan, Pokemon was the most searched item on there, so they link that to Nintendo.
Yeah, but so it says like Gaming Giant was found to be top brand, or talking about Epic, was found to be top brand in 141 countries with 4,716,375 global searches in total. Like, there's no way that there's 4 million searches around the globe for Epic when there's 350 million players on Fortnite. Like, how are there almost like 100 times that many people playing the game and only 1% of them is even Googling the company?
So
like, that doesn't make sense by these metrics. I don't get it.
Think about the demographics, though. So if you look at the demographics and say a third of those players are children, right, and they're playing on a mobile application, they're likely not going on Google and searching Fortnite or Epic Games or any other titles. They're just literally logging into the phone to play the game. That's all they're doing. So I might look up Apex like once a week on Google. I'm one of the many players. And yeah, that contributes to that number, obviously, for EA or Respawn. But at the end of the day, a lot of those Fortnite players, if it's active 350 million, they're likely not just Googling Fortnite.
Yeah, but you think like more than 1% of them would Google it once.
Well, and Google's not the only method of search online. So, I mean, you do have a number of other things like, I'm going to say Bing, even though Bing is kind of irrelevant.
And why is Atari in the top 5?
That I didn't know.
Atari came out with that like VCS.
That might be part of it. Is the VCS their hotel thing they were talking about?
Yeah, but like Atari, Sony and Microsoft aren't even mentioned on this.
Old people finally discovering the internet.
But like, how are Sony and Microsoft not even mentioned on this with like the Series X? And like, how many people are Googling PS5 and Series X to just try to find out what store they can run to?
Don't make our article irrelevant, Ryan. Irrelevant.
I just don't. I don't get the metrics, and I don't like that Atari's on here.
You don't like that? You just don't like Atari?
No.
They're so 70s or 80s. Like, yeah, I get you.
Like, you're trying to tell me that people are Googling Rare more than they're Googling Sony and Microsoft?
Hey, the word rare is pretty common. Rare video games. Come on now.
So there's Rare, Epic. Is there a Legendary video games?
Is there? I don't know.
Is there a common video games company?
You know what? Don't take our ideas, people. We might open up common video games.
We'll partner with Rare.
We'll partner for Rare.
And we'll get purchased by Epic.
Yes, to make legendary video games.
Yes.
And then they'll say, well, why don't you know anything? And we'll just say, we learned from, Jeff Frazzini over at Amazon, which is our next article. But yeah, so check out that chart. I know Ryan's kind of in disbelief over the fact that, Epic Games is number 1 and Nintendo's not, but there's only so many times people want to Google Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon, Ryan. Only so many times. So, and maybe there's other considerations. Maybe
the fact that we do a podcast and I Google this stuff all the time.
Yeah, in your mindset, you're like...
yeah. I'm assuming that, I don't know, everybody that has video games must just look up and read articles about them and be super well informed.
Here's a question for you. You play PlayStation, right?
Jace.
Okay, and Respawn and Apex is not a PlayStation-owned property, so it wouldn't go into that per se. How many times in the last week did you Google anything tied to the PlayStation? Like, can you think off the top of your head any moment this week where you Googled a PlayStation article? The only one
I Googled PlayStation at least once or twice because I know that I was talking about the Nintendo PlayStation to somebody.
Okay,
so that counts for both. That's that's a PlayStation and a Nintendo.
Yeah, but since it was Nintendo first, it's probably Nintendo search. But that's an instance, right? Like, the only time this week I did it was I looked up Jade Cocoon. And yeah, there's PlayStation on there, but
I guess we don't know what the time link on those metrics were. Like, I'm assuming like it's over the course of a year. I probably Google PlayStation quite often.
Yeah, probably, but a lot of people aren't. Okay, well, into our next article here that we had is Amazon can make just about anything except a good video game.
This is a super deep Jason Schreier article.
Yeah, this is
also Priya Anand.
I guess. What company are they with? Is Bloomberg,
Bloomberg.
Right? Yeah. So this was actually, we found it on Yahoo Finance, and it was linked from Bloomberg, but This was actually a really in-depth article, and
Lots of insight.
dude, I learned a lot in reading this one. So definitely urge you to check out this article. We'll have it linked within the actual podcast on thegamedeflators.com. Within the podcast, you'll find it on there. And it might link on like Spotify and other ones in the description, but I'm not sure. For sure, though, you'll find it on our website. So definitely check it out. But this like goes super in-depth on really like Amazon's venture into gaming from like start to current and what things are looking like.
The key players.
Yeah, like who they've hired, the games that they've tried to put out.
Interaction with Twitch.
Oh my God, it's insane. So, I mean, it's really long. Like when we say it's really long, like we sat here in silence just reading through it, and it took us a while to get through this thing.
Where do you want to start?
I guess let's start with, when you look at Amazon and some of what they've released so far, you had Crucible, which I think is already gone. I think they got rid of it, or they're going to re-release it.
No, Crucible was shut down last October.
Yeah, they have the Luna games, which is kind of successful. We'll dig into that in a bit. But I think a lot of it, they say, stems from, I think it's Jeff, right? Jeff Frazzini, his name? Or just we'll say Frazzini. So basically, this guy was like Jeff Bezos, so maybe Frazzini's not.
Mike
Frazzini, yeah. So
it's the first words in the article.
Well, dude, I don't have it open right in front of me. So Mike Frazzini, he's like the CEO essentially of like working within Amazon, and he's been like Jeff Bezos' right-hand man in like launching various products over the years. And he pretty much was the reason they bought Twitch. They were like, look, he said, look, we need to buy this. We need to get into the video game market. It's a very lucrative opportunity. Obviously, it paid off because they're making probably a ton of money off Twitch, and they've tried to take that and expand into video games. And we've talked about Amazon in the past getting into games. Obviously, it's the Twitch acquisition, along with various games that they've tried to put out and their game studios and all that. So there's lots of prior podcast episodes where we've talked about this. But in particular, the interesting thing that I found while reading this article is they had like Amazon employees who were working within that department, who were, of course, anonymous, but it was the one interesting thing was like Mike would pretty much like in meetings, he would see games that are in development, and the one thing that stood out to me is like, oh, that looks cool. When is this being released? And the developers were
why is it that color?
Yeah, the developers were like in absolute shock that this guy had no concept or has no concept on what is required for a video game and everything.
He's never made a game. He's probably never like played a game like on a casual basis.
So we're talking like if he was producing Halo or on that team, the new Halo, and he saw it as everybody else saw it in the reveal, he'd probably be like, it's good, throw it out into the market. Like, this guy just apparently has no clue, and they had another employee that had written on a whiteboard that he was cancer, like, just because he doesn't know what he's doing. And so it seems like, I think at the end of the day, it's not necessarily that Amazon can't make a good game. I think it's more on Amazon has not made the right hire to be able to make a good game. Like,
they don't have the right culture, and they don't have the right people in place to operate a studio. Like, there's certain things like they talk about the pay. Like, a lot of people were making a lot of money to go there. Like, they said that they were getting paid like almost like twice the industry rate in the city, which is Seattle, which is a big gaming hub and a big tech hub, and those are probably some pretty big paychecks. People getting stock options and stuff like that, but they weren't being offered like bonuses to close out, ship games, and produce good results. So these people are more just being passive and hanging around and keeping their jobs because the stock is going through the roof. The longer you stay there, more money you get to make, and there's not really all that pressure from above to be like, hey, let's get this game out. Let's make money off of this game. And also, everybody in every studio probably has some kind of pressure over them of this needs to be a franchise. We need to make this one so that we can make the sequel really successful. And then the third one will push us into, billion-dollar franchise territory, and we'll get there. So, having that mentality is a lot of pressure to put on these studios that have been kind of put together and aren't really being led appropriately, and it leads to games that don't really live up to those type of standards. But we were talking earlier, Amazon has so much money, they can really afford to fail 3 or 4 times if they do get that, billion-dollar fifth win. Like, they'll make it back eventually, and it's really just a matter of time until they do probably crack it and come up with something. They talk in the article about Amazon's video department, and at first they tried doing stuff and it didn't really work out, and then they got a big hit with Transparent, and then they got another hit with something else, and now people are signing up for Amazon just to watch The Boys. Like, it sells the subscription. So it's like getting the right person, getting the right content. Like, maybe, like, I think I've said this before on the podcast, like, I don't see Amazon needing necessarily to be an in-house game creator. I think that they could do phenomenally just kind of doing, what Xbox has done recently and picking up some big studios. Like, make a good acquisition for something like, could you imagine if Amazon, like, bought all of Konami's IPs and all of a sudden Amazon could produce the next Metal Gear and make, like, a Metal Gear TV show or film to go with it? Like, if they picked up the right studios with the right IPs, they could use those IPs to do a lot more with their huge brand and their huge services. And also they would get people that are more experienced with things. Like, they talk in the article about how they were so determined to have their own engine so that they wouldn't have to pay for, licensing somebody else's engine. They wanted Twitch to start a game store so they wouldn't have to pay the 30% to Steam. They're trying to figure out where they can save money by doing it all themselves, when if they really want to throw their money around, just get something that works and cash in.
So while all of that does sound like the right approach, and it is the right approach to an extent, it also starts from the top. So a lot of what this article does cover is that Ferzini has failed Amazon in a lot of these ventures. They've hired people from, like, Take-Two Interactive. They've hired, like, great people who have done, like, the artwork and direction for, like, Portal 2 and all these, and, like, the Madden guru, I forget his name offhand.
Yeah.
But they've pulled in a lot of big name people, and they've had a lot of promotion size thing. They had Will Smith, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson was part of some promotions.
I think that was
they
Kevin
had.
Smith, not Will Smith.
No, Will Smith was on there too, I believe.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say Will Smith was on there, and then of course Kevin Smith was one as well. And you had The Rock. So they had, like, all these celebrities trying to promote these various products, and it's just failed consistently. And it all links back to Ferzini in this instance, in that the guy just doesn't know what he's doing. And so I do think that if you hire somebody that does know what they're doing into that position and replace Ferzini, assuming I don't recall if they said Ferzini was gone, but if you brought in somebody from the start that knew what they were doing and was like a leader in that space, Amazon would probably be well ahead of where it is right now, and wouldn't have, I think they're saying $1 billion a year is what they're looking to spend on this in their game development, and it's just not working out. So yeah, I think it does start from the top. I think Amazon, I agree, they are going to crack it, and it's going to be successful. Luna apparently is looking to be pretty successful.
That's like a Stadia
and that's not
equivalent service.
Yeah, and that's not led by Ferzini. They said that's developed by, or worked on by, the guy that developed the Echo and I think the Fire Stick, I want to say.
Could be.
So, or no, it was, yeah, the Echo and something else that he had created. So there's a lot of success coming from this other person within Amazon to create this. And I think at the end of the day, it does amount to leadership. And I do agree. I think Amazon's going to be a crazy force to be reckoned with, especially if Luna takes off, if they start buying studios, if they really crack this, they're going to be a major player for years to come, which is going to kind of suck in a sense. And I really hope they don't go buying studios and whatnot, but it's kind of gotten to a point now in the video game industry and, like, you know, just what I play on a day-to-day basis, I probably buy more indies and stuff nowadays anyways, because, you know, why would I want to go to Amazon and just buy games on there? It just, I don't know, it just seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
Like, especially on a digital front. I'm not a fan of, you know, digital purchases to begin with. Any closing statement here before we move on?
Read it. It's a good article.
Yeah,
Lots of insight.
Definitely is. A lot of good stuff. A whole world that I honestly didn't even think about. All right, our inflation deflation of the week is the Mutant League Football Dynasty Edition. So this one was developed by Digital Dreams Entertainment, published by Digital Dreams Entertainment, and designed by Michael Medheim, and it was released in January of 2018. The cool thing about this game, dude, is it had updated characters, in a sense. So, for those that have played Madden, and we had that kind of explanation last week with Blitz, in a sense, right? It felt like Madden in a way, very different. You did have the various mechanics and such that made it very different from Madden, but it felt very similar. This game is like a parody on Madden. And when I say parody, it follows a very similar process of Madden. Your play calling, your kicks, your running, all of that is the same, right? But the team names are like the, what was it? The New Grobelheim Zombies, which was like basically the equivalent of the New Orleans Saints. I played as like the Carcass City Creeps. You played as, I think, Metal Mayhem, which was something totally different.
There's the Mile High Chronic.
Yeah, the Mile High Chronic was one. I think the Scarolina Panthers or Panzers. Yeah, so there's like, they basically try to take existing NFL properties and turn it into parody, like demon and gore and everything else, like type of helmets, and it's pretty cool. And then the players are up to date. So I was playing today when I played the Creeps, and then you were playing Metal Mayhem. I was
Patrick, my homie.
Patrick, or no, not Patrick. Hattrick, my homie.
Hattrick, my homie.
Hattrick, my homie. And I had who was it? Flamey Tompkins or something. And then you were playing as Denver, and you had Drew Shock instead of Drew Lock.
Yeah.
So like it was pretty cool, and to see that it was all like existing current players. And their names were tagged onto, like, it was obviously key players. They're not hammering on like, every single player, but your quarterback, your running back, likely like a defensive player, like they all had like existing NFL names that were kind of morphed into this like parody of the NFL in this like gory setting of like hell for a lot of these, or like mutants. It was cool.
Just as like a general over, so it's football, but you're like demons and monsters and skeletons and xenomorphs all fighting against each other on a open field of football combat. There's like razor blades running across or saw blades running across the field, and spikes and bombs and bear traps and pits of lava, and you're trying to play football amidst all the chaos while beating the crap out of each other and bribing the ref and blowing people up.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this game, and I loved a lot of it. And it brought back so many memories because, like we said earlier, this is a remake of an older game for the Genesis. I never played that, but there was a 2-season, 40-episode cartoon of this that ran from 1992 to 1994 that I distinctly remember as a child and never really knowing what it was. And this has brought it all back to me, so that's a weird, cool thing. And yeah, you mentioned earlier this was a remake. The guy who made the original tried to get it kickstarted a couple times. It didn't release with like all its features, but I think this is awesome. This is definitely my favorite game that we've played so far. I did pretty good this week, everybody. I beat John in the first game. It was going to be 21-0, but he cheated and rewound time and made it 13-0. And then in the second game, he beat me 7-0.
Yeah, and I probably could have had
and
more.
And I had possession of the ball the whole damn game.
Yeah, we had, like, the first match we played was, like, fast mode on time, and you were playing a team that was just absolutely demolishing mine.
If you play the game, you got to turn the time to normal, and I would probably put more game time on the clock because it feels like it goes so fast.
Yeah, it did. I would say 5 minutes is pretty adequate for that to get, like, a good full game per quarter. But yeah, dude, I enjoyed it, and I did like the whole like killing aspect of the game where you could like run into players and throw them into saw blades and stuff. And
the commentary.
The commentary was phenomenal. They were talking about like
all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
it was insane.
Was all kinds of stuff going on.
He was talking about how his dad used to make him eat glue, so he would shut up, and they're like, "Yeah, you should eat some more glue." Like it was just fantastic. I love the commentary. It reminded
the mini game.
The mini game of like shooting zombies, which I performed best on that one.
You did.
That one was pretty cool. So you kill zombies and you run around with a gun during halftime. And you play a mini game. That was pretty cool. That was a nice little break in between, and I enjoyed that component. What was the other part that I really liked? The hot potato. That was So
Yeah, you just like blew my guy up.
Yeah, so you have dirty tricks that you can do, as he was saying, like the cheating. So you can bribe a ref, you can do sticky ball, which when Ryan was kicking a field goal, I went ahead and used sticky ball and it went up and went back down. He's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
There was that. But no, the hot potato I think was the funniest one because you weren't suspecting that one. So he picks his play and he's trying to run into the end zone with his QB. And or no, he's just trying to do a quarterback sneak, and you succeeded on the quarterback sneak, but your quarterback blew up.
Yeah,
which was amazing to just see this ball of fire. And Ryan's like, "Did my quarterback just die?"
I wanted to see what happened. Like, unlike in the other game where it's like your guy just kept getting injured, it's like you had like a roster, and there was an option to like field different people and reserve people and stuff like that. Well, like you had like a character count, like. Because after, like, all the deaths, it would show you'd be, like, 54 out of 56 players because 2 of them died.
Yeah, I think a longer game, you'd really see, like, the aspect of that, like, kind of coming in. Like, if we put, like, 8-minute quarters or something, we'd probably really be significant.
Just grind it out.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But we had auto... auto replacement. So yeah, it was just kind of that number trickling down. But the one thing I would have loved to see with this game is, like you had mentioned, in Blitz the League, where it shows the damage meter and like a little bit deeper in on the gore mode. That would have been pretty cool for a game like this because it's all comic-y, right? So
yeah, but that's got like a Mortal Kombat grit to it. This has more of, like you were saying, like a celebrity death match kind of like I don't think they're really going for like, what do bones look like when they break?
Yeah, but I mean, like, more comical stuff in that, like, just gorier. I think if it was bloodier, that would have been pretty cool. And that's kind of insane given how bloody it was.
Toned it up. Had this game made its stretch goals, it probably could have been a lot cooler, I feel.
Yeah, but I still liked it, for sure. And you're right. It is like a celebrity deathmatch football game. Because in Celebrity Deathmatch, when we played on the PS2, so catch that episode, some of the things that we had commented on was the commentary and how funny that was.
Yeah.
And, you know, how that really just kind of ties things in and has that nostalgia type feel. This very much it felt like it was inspired by Celebrity Deathmatch.
This was a game from the mid 2000s, early 90s, or early 2000s, mid late 90s. Like, it feels like that kind of era.
You talking about Celebrity Deathmatch?
Well, no, this game, like, it feels like a game, like,
I gotcha.
that would have been out back then. Like, I feel all that same kind of vibe. Like, it picks up all that kind of nostalgia that was around back then. So if you're like me and John, like 30, play this game, and you'll just be like, oh man, I love this. This is hitting all the buttons that I like in games.
It was fun. It definitely was. Reception, interestingly enough, was a 6.5.
There wasn't very much on this. There was 3 scores, and they averaged about a 6.5.
Okay, I gotcha. So yeah, 6.5. I would say honestly, I disagree with that. I think it'd be more along a 7.5. And the reason I give it that score is primarily because I do play football games, and so when I look at a game like this, it's how does it translate into my ability to play it based on playing other games like Madden and I guess Tecmo Bowl and NFL Blitz and all that. Like, how does this kind of work as both an arcade game, but also as a football game, and like a traditional football game? And I would say a 7.5. Like, it pulls a lot of good pieces from everything to kind of morph into this like interesting version of gory arcade Madden, basically. And yeah, so that'd be around my rating, would be about 7.5. Brass tacks, so Ryan, why don't you give the people the numbers?
Okay, so we played the PlayStation 4 version, complete in box, comes to $11.59. That peaked at $18.95 back in December 2018,
which is when it came out.
Yeah, and the loose is $9.99, peaked at $18.91 December 2018, back when it came out. And they're both holding steady. The most expensive version you can get is the Switch version for $18.53, and the cheapest is $6.99, and that's the Xbox version.
Of course, the Xbox version, and of course, the Switch is most expensive.
I would buy this game.
Yeah,
I would.
Well, I mean, I did.
Yeah, I would buy this game. This is a buy game.
Yeah, I think
this is fun.
Yeah, and here's the thing: they're updating the players, but at some point, if they don't update the players.
Who cares?
And they just have random. Who cares? Yeah, you're right. Like, who cares? Because this game,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's an art. You're not limited. It's not like Blitz in the sense like NFL Blitz 2000, where you're playing of Dan Marino and John Elway or anybody else. Actually, John Elway might have been retired by then. But you're not playing with like older NFL players and just wondering like, okay, like I'm definitely playing an older game, right? This could be a game that was released in 2000, 2005, 2008, and you'd be okay playing it. You'd say, okay, cool. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm playing it 10, 12 years down the road because there's no players that you're looking at, and there's no recognition of this is an old game outside of the fact that it might be lower quality in graphics, or anything along those lines.
And the graphics are fine.
Oh, yeah, in this game they're fine. The music was good, the graphics were good, the commentary was good, the gameplay was pretty smooth. There are some things I'd complain about, like, I don't know how you got several interceptions on me. I think it was just
that good.
I guess. Yeah.
I'm a better mutant than you are.
I think the computer got it for you. But here's the thing, at $11.59, I spent about, I think it was $12 total after tax for my copy. I think I got it I got it new, but it was like $9.99 used. It was on sale. So, yeah, if you spent $12 on this, I think it's a good deal. If you spent $15 on the Switch,
if you spent $20 on a brand new sealed Switch copy,
I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's it's not like Madden. It's not a game that is going to, over time, go down to like $1 or $2. I mean, it might, but it's not a game like Madden where the newest one comes out and the next one's irrelevant.
Look for this game next time GameStop has a buy two, get one.
Yeah.
Get this.
Yeah, for sure. Add this to your collection. I think it's good. Ryan thinks it's good. We had a lot of fun. Ryan beat me in a football game finally, which was shocking. But I would say...
So we really recommend this. Does that make it deflated? Or does that make it just right?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you're saying buy it for $20 on Switch, if you got a Switch, I'd say buy it for like, if you found it... It's obviously at its price point, right? But if down the road, if you found this game for $15 because you can no longer find new copies on the shelf, it would not be a big deal. Like, I think it's worth that. I think, honestly, this game is worth $15. Like, I would buy this new for $15 if it was available. I wouldn't care. Like, it's $10 right now, of course, but if in 6 months it's up to $15, and that's what it's typically priced at, I still think you're okay.
Still worth.
I think it's still worth it. So I would say deflated.
And this is one you're gonna like to play.
For sure. And if you got some friends that enjoy football or you just don't know how to play football very well, it makes it very easy. There's enough cheat type stuff in there with the hot potato and sticky ball and killing the refs and all this other stuff, like enough gimmicks tied into it to make it enjoyable. And
it's got so much character in that way.
I agree. So I really liked it. Well, deflated it is. So we're not sure about next week's episode, what we're going to be recording, whether we record a few days in advance before you leave town or do what you need to do. So I've got Mutant League Football for the Genesis here.
We also talked about Super Techno Bowl.
Yeah, because technically
Super Bowl's coming up.
Super Bowl, but our episode will be coming out after the Super Bowl, so it's one of those like, what do we do? We could technically play it and just like, have our episode where we predicted it, and we'll just kind of make it up front, known that that's what it was. The other option, of course, is to just play Mutant League Football and do a comparison, or both. Both is also a good option. So we'll figure that out. We will let you all know. But as always, catch our podcast on those awesome podcast applications out there that I noted before. Find us on social media at Game Deflators and at The Game Deflators. And we'll look forward to you listening next week. This has been episode 117 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.